that whole story I told you about Frederick Douglass a few minutes ago, in my mind, Frederick Douglass is as much a founder of this country as the people that wrote the Constitution. You know, you're born a slave, you helped lead our way out of slavery. It seems to me you're a founder. And if you're somebody in this town who led the fight for collective bargaining and went to jail for that,
She did.
you're a founder too. Like you're doing what you're required to do and what you're responsible for. The people that got women the right to vote, you know, the people that led our environmental movement. And as I've thought about this, and I write this at the end of my book, which is not about me. If you want to write a book by a politician, not about the politician, you can read my book, which is about our democracy. But my conclusion is that when you ask yourself, what is our responsibility living in this democratic republic as a citizen? I think it is the responsibility of a founder. I think that's how you have to think about it. It's that elevated a sense of what our responsibility is. And that's hard. That's not like saying it's sort of your job. It is the exact opposite of Donald Trump saying, I alone can fix it, which is what he said when he ran for president. It is the exact opposite. And then if you agree with me, or you think that at least there's something of what I'm saying, then it's not just about, or even importantly about, who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's what are we doing, all of us, to make sure we're fulfilling the responsibility that we have as founders. And I think the people that have faced those kinds of things, like jail, and, you know, I mean, as I said earlier, nobody's asking anybody here to do anything harder than my grandparents had to do to survive the Holocaust. I can assure you of that. But there's no one else to do the work. James Baldwin, in the crisis moments of the civil rights movement, wrote these beautiful words where there was a time when he could have been totally cynical about everything for every reason in the world. And what he wrote was, everything now is in our hands. We have no right to assume otherwise. Everything now is in our hands. We have no right to assume otherwise. We have no right to assume otherwise because our kids and grandkids need us to do the work that we're supposed to do. So they can inherit a democracy that's not perfect, but is in a good enough shape for them to be able to do what they need to be able to do. You know, it's easy to say that we think about every kid in America maybe could grow up someday to be president, and that's been proven true by Barack Obama and by Abraham Lincoln, and in a terrible way by the guy who's in the White House today. But for me, a much more important way of thinking about the next generation is as future founders of this country. Think about them as people who in their time will have a job to do, just like the job we have to do. And if we thought about them, we'd be a lot less cavalier with their education than we've been, and we'd be a lot more supportive of what they need us to do in our politics. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you a big speech at the end, but I couldn't resist it. And I have to thank all of you for giving me so much time. If you could go to michaelbennett.com or tell your friends and neighbors just to, you know, make a little contribution or sign up.